Long before the stars themselves took their stations in the void, long before the hum of titanic engines echoed across the heavens, there was faith. Not the flickering belief of mortal hearts, nor the whispered prayers of isolated worlds, but a faith vast and unyielding, a river of devotion that flows through the arteries of the Imperium. It is here, in this crucible of the sacred and the bureaucratic, that the machinery of souls is forged. The faithful call it the imperial creed, yet it is more than creed. It is law, it is memory, it is destiny itself, and it is upheld by a power older and colder than any god, bureaucracy. In the labyrinthine halls of the Adeptus Administratum, endless columns of clerics and scribes toil under the watchful eyes of unseen masters. Their faces are hidden beneath hoods or helmets. Their voices echo only in the corridors of echoing marble. Each movement is precise, each word weighed, each seal stamped with ritualistic care. Here, faith is not merely spoken. It is written, codified, and enforced. The lives of billions turn upon the ink of their quills, upon the perfect alignment of cogitators and record-keepers. The pen is no longer just a tool. It is a weapon, sharper than the swords of the emperors chosen. Visualize, if you will, the spire of Terra, its shadows stretching over the hive cities like the wings of a celestial bird. Inside, vast archives rise into infinity, floors upon floors stacked with ledgers that contain the names, deeds, and heresies of a million worlds. Light filters through stained glass depicting saints, warriors, and martyrs, painting the pages with hues of gold, crimson, and violet. There is a rhythm here, a sacred pulse, the synchronized breathing of the Imperium's soul, measured not in heartbeats but in the careful tally of devotion. Each cleric who walks these halls understands, even if only subconsciously, the weight of their charge. A single misfiled edict could doom a planet to famine. A forgotten martyr's record might allow heresy to take root and bloom like a cancer across the stars. And yet, there is beauty in this precision, a kind of terrifying grace. Every signature, every wax seal, every ritualized stamping is an act of worship, a prayer encoded into bureaucracy. The faithful do not kneel before a statue of the emperor here. They bow before the ledger, the tome, the record, for in these lies the immortality of the soul and the imperishability of the Imperium. Faith, in this place, is not passive. It is a living organism, sustained by the meticulous devotion of those who serve silently. Pilgrims and pilgrims of ink, they transcribe the rites of the faithful, interpret the sacred decrees, and enforce the divine will of the God Emperor with quiet, unwavering obedience. One might imagine them as mere functionaries, but they are more. They are the custodians of the Imperium's heart, the keepers of its flame, the unseen architects of a civilization that spans a galaxy. Without them, armies would falter, planets would burn unheeded, and the light of the Emperor would flicker and fade. And yet, faith is never blind here. It is demanding, relentless, and exacting. Those who falter under its weight find themselves erased, not merely from records, but from memory itself. To fail is to become a ghost, a shadow whose absence is barely noticed because the bureaucracy is eternal, and it forgets nothing that can harm it. This paradox lies at the core of the Imperium. It is human, yet it is greater than humanity. It is spiritual, yet ruled by the cold logic of administration. It is divine, yet bound by the mortal hands that labor to maintain it. In the shadows of these vast halls, one might glimpse the heretic, the rebel, the wavering soul. They stand before the endless tomes, trembling, knowing that their faith, or the lack of it, is measured not by confession but by record. And the clerics do not judge, they document. Judgment comes later, through a process as inexorable as the turning of the stars. Every heresy, every act of devotion, every sin is a number, a notation, a line in the ledger. The act of recording transforms chaos into order, doubt into certainty, fleeting mortal fear into the eternal logic of the Imperium. Consider the rituals themselves, ink sanctified with prayers, parchment blessed in fire, seals pressed with words older than memory. Each act is a bridge between the temporal and the eternal. The bureaucrats are priests of this ritualized devotion, yet they wield their authority with no sentiment, for emotion is a luxury that could unravel the structure of faith itself. In their hands, the Imperium's belief is both sword and shield. It inspires the faithful to unimaginable feats, and it binds them to an order they cannot escape. It is within these layers of devotion, record, and ritual that the Imperium breathes. Soldiers march into the darkness of war, priests chant in the cathedral, and the galaxy spins, indifferent to the lives of the billions beneath it. Yet the bureaucracy, in its silent devotion, preserves them. Each name logged, each act of faith chronicled, each command meticulously written, ensures that nothing, no belief, no life, no hope, is ever truly lost. Faith is maintained not through the zeal of preachers, but through the patience of scribes. Devotion is enforced not by sword, but by ledger. The soul of the Imperium is preserved not in fire and battle, but in ink and ritual. And so it continues, endless and unbroken. The spires rise, the candles burn, and the clerics march in perfect, eternal procession. Through their labor, the Imperium's faith becomes not only a belief but a force, a living engine that drives its vast, unknowable will across the galaxy. Every decree, every prayer, every ritualized action is a testament to the power of devotion filtered through bureaucracy, a reminder that in the Imperium, faith is not fragile. It is unyielding. It is eternal. It is absolute. And in that realization lies both awe and terror. For the Imperium does not merely survive, it endures. Its faith is not a whisper of hope but a roaring tide, sweeping across worlds, shaping destinies, and crushing dissent beneath the weight of recorded history. To witness it is to glimpse infinity itself, in the form of an empire whose soul is as vast as the stars and as precise as the ink that charts them. Faith, in the Imperium, is not a matter of choice. It is law. It is destiny. It is life itself. And it is maintained forever by the silent, tireless hands of the bureaucrats, custodians of souls, guardians of eternity, and the quiet engine that drives the galaxy toward the will of the God Emperor. In the endless corridors of sacred ink and whispering parchment, the faithful continue their labor, unaware of the history they inscribe, yet shaping the fate of billions with every stroke. And the Imperium endures, eternal and unbroken, bound by faith and bureaucracy, a testament to the divine order of all things. The drums of war echo across the void, yet in the Imperium, they are heard not only on battlefields but in silent chambers where no soldier ever sets foot. Here, war is not chaos. It is symphony, orchestrated by hands unseen, minds calculating, and hearts hidden behind the mask of duty. The Adeptus Administratum does not wield bolters or command fleets directly, yet it shapes the destiny of entire campaigns with the quiet authority of a god. For in the Imperium, victory is not granted by strength alone, but by precision, and precision is born from bureaucracy. Visualize the war councils, their chambers bathed in the cold light of tactical hololiths. Holographic stars hover above the tables like captive suns, each flicker representing a planet, a fleet, a legion. The administrators move among them with the calm of priests conducting ritual, yet their tools are not incense and scripture, they are ledgers, codices, and decrees. Every movement of a regiment, every supply convoy, every orbital bombardment is recorded, timed, and sanctioned. The galaxy itself bends under the weight of these calculations. Here, the pen is more lethal than any chain blade, the ledger mightier than any titan. Wars are fought on countless fronts, yet the Imperium does not lose its rhythm. Every sector has its record, every battle its archive, every soldier its place in the eternal ledger. Clerks in distant offices coordinate reinforcements with meticulous care, their fingers tracing the lines of hololithic charts as if conducting a symphony. A single misplaced order could doom a world, yet the bureaucracy is flawless in its devotion. Each directive, each requisition, each minor decision resonates across light years, echoing into the hearts of those who fight without ever seeing the hands that guide them. And still, war is not only about numbers. It is about faith and ritual, for the Imperium soldiers march believing that their lives are threads in a grand tapestry woven by the Emperor himself. The administrators, unseen, are the silent priests of this faith. They consecrate the paths of armies, bless the supply chains, and ensure that even in death, sacrifice is not wasted. From the tiniest colony militia to the largest Titan legion, no combatant moves without their influence. They are the quiet arbiters of destiny, their authority invisible yet absolute. Consider the scale of it: worlds besieged, fleets engaged in endless ballet, psychers screaming through the warp, and yet, somewhere in a distant archive, a clerk records the arrival of reinforcements, noting their speed, strength, and orientation. Somewhere else, a scribe translates a battle report into an edict, altering the strategy of a sector with a single stroke of the pen. And somewhere, a senior bureaucrat watches over it all, unseen and unfathomable, guiding the Imperium with the patience of eternity. War in the Imperium is ritualistic, almost sacred. Fleets move in preordained patterns, campaigns unfold according to strict doctrine, and even the chaos of combat bends to the logic of strategy. Clerks and record-keepers are not passive observers. They are conductors of a cosmic orchestra, ensuring that every note, every explosion, every advance, every retreat, resounds in perfect harmony with the Emperor's will. The battlefield may seem chaotic, but in truth, it is a ledger unfolding, a narrative meticulously curated by the silent strategists. Yet, the weight of such power is not without consequence. For each decision carries with it death and suffering, and those who guide these outcomes must bear the knowledge of billions lost, worlds scorched, and legions destroyed. They do so without complaint, without hesitation, for they serve not themselves but the Imperium. Emotion is a liability here. Empathy is a risk. To falter is to endanger not just a campaign, but the stability of the galaxy itself. And still, in their quiet, methodical labor, there is a strange nobility. They are the unseen champions of survival, the guardians of order amidst the chaos of infinity. Visualize, then, a great campaign unfolding, orbital bombardments shaking planets to their cores, titans marching like colossi across shattered continents, and yet, behind the scenes, the true architects of victory remain unseen. They adjust the flow of supplies, recalibrate the timings of fleet arrivals, and ensure that each soldier, each weapon, and each vessel arrives precisely where it must. Victory is thus not chance, nor bravery alone, but an orchestration of will, faith, and bureaucratic perfection. Even in failure, their work endures. Reports are filed, mistakes analyzed, and future campaigns adjusted. The Imperium learns not through heroism alone, but through record, through observation, through meticulous attention to every detail. Battles are immortalized in ledgers, campaigns are inscribed in hololithic archives, and war itself becomes a reflection of the grand order that sustains the galaxy. The administrator's mind is infinite, encompassing every variable, calculating the countless threads of causality, ensuring that the Imperium's will is carried out with relentless efficiency. And yet, there is a poetry to this silence, a grandeur hidden in the absence of spectacle. While the masses see thunderous combat and heroic acts, the true power lies in the quiet. It is in the scribes who chart the course of fleets, the clerks who sanction the production of weapons, the bureaucrats who ensure that faith and strategy converge. They are unseen, uncelebrated, yet without them, all heroism, all bravery, all blood spilled would vanish into futility. In this, war itself becomes both ritual and devotion. The soldier prays, the commissar commands, the titan walks, and the administrator calculates. Each act reinforces the other, a chain of cause and consequence that binds the Imperium together. Faith, strategy, and bureaucracy merge into a single, unstoppable force. The galaxy may burn, yet the order behind the flames remains unbroken, eternal, unshakable. War, in the Imperium, is therefore not just a conflict of arms. It is a testament to discipline, to structure, to the invisible hand of strategy. The silent strategists, wielding pens instead of swords, decrees instead of orders, shape the fate of billions with quiet omnipotence. They are the architects of triumph, the keepers of cosmic balance, and the embodiment of the Imperium's relentless will. And when the battles are over, when the smoke clears and the survivors count their losses, the war continues in silence. Every report filed, every casualty noted, every misstep recorded becomes part of the vast network that will guide the next conflict. Victory is never final. It is merely a chapter in the unending chronicle maintained by those who do not fight, yet control the outcomes of all. Thus, the Imperium marches on, eternal and unbroken, its wars countless, its heroes celebrated, its failures noted, and its victories ensured. The silent strategists remain ever vigilant, their power invisible yet absolute, a reminder that in the Imperium, war is not merely fought, it is administered. In the vast corridors of hololiths and ledgers, the pulse of battle continues, unseen and unending. For it is here, in the quiet calculation of the faithful scribes, that victory is born, and the Imperium endures, as unstoppable and eternal as the stars themselves. The Imperium is vast beyond comprehension, a galaxy-spanning colossus of flame, steel, and devotion. Yet, for all its fury, all its endless wars, all its towering spires and roaring titans, it is memory that binds it together. Memory is the thread upon which the Imperium's soul is strung, and those who guard it are neither warriors nor saints. They are bureaucrats, archivists, scribes, and record-keepers, tasked with the solemn duty of remembering. For to forget is to fall, and to remember is to endure. In the endless archives of Terra, where floors of crystal data vaults rise like frozen oceans, the past is not past. Holographic displays shimmer with the echoes of battles long ended. Reports of heroes and heretics alike fill the air with whispered stories, and the scent of ancient ink lingers as though it were a prayer. These halls are sanctuaries of memory, a cathedral built not of stone but of knowledge, each record a stained glass window illuminating the Imperium's unbroken history. Here every victory, every martyrdom, every betrayal, and every act of devotion is catalogued with the devotion of a priest and the precision of a master craftsman. The clerks move through these halls with the quiet authority of those who wield immortality itself. They touch the hololiths, they scroll through the ledgers, they chant the names of planets, generals, and saints as if each syllable were sacred. They are both guardians and witnesses. The warrior may die, the fleet may be destroyed, the world may burn, yet in these records, nothing is lost. Every soul is counted, every deed noted, every heresy preserved, for memory itself is the true power of the Imperium. It is through memory that the dead live, that lessons endure, and that the mistakes of the past may guide the fate of billions. Consider the process. A world falls to Xenos, its defenders slaughtered, its cities reduced to ash. To the casual observer, it is tragedy and oblivion. But in the archives, it is meticulously documented. The names of the fallen, the strategies employed, the failures, the heroism, the timeline of events. This record becomes a tool for future campaigns, a warning, a lesson, a sacred testament. Memory is not passive. It is a weapon, sharper than any blade, and those who wield it shape the destiny of the galaxy with every stroke of ink or pulse of data. And yet, memory is not merely functional. It is emotional, philosophical, sacred. To catalogue a martyr is to honor them. To remember a heretic is to learn from them. To maintain memory is to maintain the soul of the Imperium itself. Every act of remembrance, every archived report, every meticulously filed edict is a prayer whispered into the void. The bureaucrats who labor here understand the weight of eternity. They know that the future depends upon their devotion to the past, that each ledger they maintain is a bridge across time, connecting the living with the dead, the present with the infinite. The archives are not uniform or sterile. They are living monuments, each sector reflecting the culture, faith, and history of its people. Some are towering halls of crystal and light, others are subterranean vaults of iron and shadow. Hololiths flicker with the faces of commanders, the names of saints, the deeds of entire worlds. Scrolls, parchments, and databanks hum with information, a chorus of memory that rises and falls like the tide. Walking these halls is to walk through eternity, to feel the weight of every triumph and every loss pressing against the soul. Yet, there is danger in memory. The weight of all that has occurred can crush the unprepared mind. Clerks, archivists, and scribes are chosen not only for skill but for endurance, for the capacity to hold infinity within their thoughts without succumbing to despair. To falter is to risk forgetting, and to forget in the Imperium is a heresy. For those who fail in memory do not merely fail themselves, they endanger entire worlds, entire fleets, entire futures. The Imperium, after all, relies not only on faith or might, but on the unbroken chain of recollection maintained by those who serve silently, tirelessly, eternally. Memory in the Imperium also shapes identity. Planets remember the wars fought upon them. Fleets remember the heroes who sailed among the stars. Humanity remembers its emperor. These memories are woven into the bureaucracy itself, a tapestry of history that reinforces devotion, obedience, and purpose. The Imperium's soul is not found in its armies, nor in its titans, nor in its planets, but in the careful, unwavering devotion of those who ensure that nothing is lost to time. Visualize the guardians of memory at work, a scribe tracing the trajectory of a lost fleet across a holographic star map, an archivist recording the final confession of a dying saint, a cleric chanting the names of those erased by heresy. Each act is a meditation, a ritual, a devotion, a link in an eternal chain. Here, memory is sacred, bureaucracy is holy, and the galaxy itself is preserved in the hands of the meticulous. Even when worlds fall, even when empires crumble, even when heroes are forgotten by the living, their deeds endure in memory. And it is this endurance that gives the Imperium its true strength. For armies may falter, fleets may scatter, planets may burn, yet memory, guarded, catalogued, revered, remains eternal. It is the invisible skeleton of civilization, the unseen armature that upholds faith, war, and destiny alike. Without it, the Imperium would be nothing but chaos, a fleeting shadow among the stars. Thus, the guardians of memory continue their silent labor, uncelebrated, unacknowledged, yet indispensable. They watch over the past with unwavering vigilance, shaping the present and guiding the future. They are both historians and priests, scribes and warriors of the intangible. Their power is quiet but absolute, their devotion endless, their vigilance eternal. They do not fight, they do not lead, they do not march, yet without them, the galaxy would descend into oblivion. In the endless corridors of crystal, ink, and data, the Imperium remembers. Each name, each act, each world preserved is a testament to its endurance. The guardians of memory stand eternal, the silent witnesses to history, ensuring that the past lives on to shape the future, and that the Imperium endures, unbroken, in the heart of time itself. In the Imperium, there is no distinction between the sacred and the mechanical, between prayer and calculation, between faith and function. Technology is divine, and divinity is technological. Every cog, every servo, every glowing hololith is a vessel of devotion, a testament to the Emperor's eternal will. The Adeptus Mechanicus whispers this truth in hallowed tones. The machine is holy, and those who serve it are priests. Yet beyond the temples of Mars, beyond the forges and sacred engines, there exists another order, administrators and bureaucrats, who wield technology not only as worship, but as chains, shaping the fate of the galaxy with cold, eternal precision. Picture the forged temples, vast enough to swallow continents, their spires reaching into the clouds like fingers of the divine. Sparks rain from titanic machines, fires glow with unnatural colors, and the hiss of hydraulics resonates like a chorus of angels. Within this cathedral of steel and iron, priests of the Omnicia chant over the sacred engines, their prayers feeding the circuits, sanctifying the gears, ensuring that every machine hums with purpose. Yet the silent strategists, the clerks of the Administratum, record every action, document every process, and decree the flows of resources that maintain these engines of faith. Their hand is unseen, yet it binds the power of technology to the will of the Imperium. Every sacred device, from the smallest servoskull to the titanic imperial titans, exists within a lattice of bureaucracy. Orders must be filed, blueprints sanctioned, data authenticated, rituals recorded. Technology, though alive with the spirit of the machine god, is still subject to the meticulous calculations of administrators, who ensure that power is not squandered, that devotion is not misapplied, and that the wheels of war and worship turn without falter. It is here that faith and logic converge, an inseparable union where one cannot exist without the other. The bureaucrats of technology are archivists of the sacred, historians of the mechanical, and custodians of infinite knowledge. They catalog every discovery, annotate every failure, and preserve the divine designs for generations yet unborn. A miscalculation in their records can doom a world. An oversight in a decree may allow the engines of war to stall, leaving planets vulnerable to Xenos or heretic alike. Their devotion is invisible but absolute, and their power is equal to that of the priests of Mars, for without their meticulous oversight, even the mightiest of titans would be blind, deaf, and impotent. Consider the process. A newly discovered artifact of the dark age of technology arrives at Terra. Its secrets are not simply studied. They are logged, measured, sanctified, and translated into the lexicon of the Imperium. Administrators oversee the rituals of activation, ensure the deployment of resources, and issue edicts that determine how the artifact's power will be applied across star systems. Each action is calculated, every possibility considered, every consequence recorded. The galaxy itself bends under these decisions, and the silent hand of bureaucracy ensures that technology remains both a servant of faith and a weapon of order. Yet, there is danger in divinity without discipline. Machines, left unchecked, can become idols of chaos, their power corrupting the mind or the soul. History is littered with such failures, worlds consumed by the very tools meant to serve them. It is the administrators who enforce order, who bind the sacred engines to the Imperium's will. They are the chains that hold divinity in balance, the guardians of cosmic responsibility. In their hands, technology does not falter, it does not rebel, it becomes the instrument of the Emperor's eternal design. Walk through the data vaults of the Administratum, and one sees the scale of this dominion. Hololithic matrices stretching for kilometers, circuits glowing with encoded prayers, archives of every technological achievement, failure, and innovation in human history. Each file is sacred, each record holy. Clerks move among them like monks in a temple, their hands tracing the lines of light as if touching the soul of the galaxy itself. Their labor is unending, for technology grows and shifts even as the stars revolve, and each development must be observed, catalogued, and directed according to the laws of the Imperium. Even the most insignificant cog, the smallest servo, is bound by the bureaucratic ritual. Approval forms, ritualized sanctifications, and historical references dictate its creation and function. There is a poetry in this rigidity, a majesty in the balance of devotion and control. Technology is not merely used, it is worshipped, administered, and disciplined, a reflection of the Imperium itself, vast, ordered, and eternal. The clerics of bureaucracy do not merely observe, they interpret. They translate the designs of Mars into action across a galaxy of planets, fleets, and fortresses. They anticipate failures, allocate resources, and ensure that every engine, whether of war or worship, functions as intended. Their work is quiet, unseen by the legions who march, by the titans who stride, by the fleets that burn through the void, yet it is absolute. Without their vigilance, technology would become chaos incarnate. With it, it becomes divinity made manifest. In this union of faith and machine, one sees the Imperium's greatest paradox. It is human and divine, spiritual and mechanical, chaotic in appearance yet perfect in structure. Technology is sacred, and bureaucracy is its high priest. Together, they bind the galaxy to order, enforce the Emperor's will, and ensure that nothing, neither ignorance, nor rebellion, nor chance, can derail the eternal purpose of mankind. And so the engines hum, the circuits glow, and the bureaucrats continue their ritual. Every record filed, every edict issued, every process documented ensures that technology remains both servant and god, instrument and devotion. It is a testament to the Imperium's unbroken will, its unyielding discipline, and its eternal faith. In the glowing corridors of forged temples and data vaults, the galaxy hums in obedience. Technology serves not itself, but the Imperium. Divinity walks hand in hand with bureaucracy, and through their union, the chains of order stretch across the stars, unbroken, eternal, and absolute. In the Imperium, destiny is not chance. It is measured, recorded, and directed by hands unseen, minds eternal, and wills unwavering. Across the galaxy, from the frozen deserts of Fenris to the molten forges of Mars, every action, every life, every star is a note in a symphony orchestrated by the silent strategists, the bureaucrats who watch, calculate, and decree. They are the invisible architects of fate, shaping the destiny of billions with nothing more than ink, data, and unerring precision. Destiny here is not abstract. It is concrete, inscribed in ledgers, encoded into hololiths, woven into the fabric of imperial law. To witness it is to understand that the flow of time itself bends beneath the weight of bureaucracy. A soldier's death, a fleet's delay, a world's fall. None of these are accidents. Each is recorded, analyzed, and integrated into the eternal design. The administrators do not merely observe, they manipulate outcomes, ensuring that the galaxy follows a path preordained by the will of the Emperor and the meticulous calculations of those who serve silently. Visualize the vast chambers of the Administratum, where data streams shimmer like auroras in artificial skies. Clerks and archivists move among hololiths displaying entire star systems, their trajectories mapped in precise lines of light. Each world, each fleet, each regiment has its place. Every battle fought and every victory won is recorded in the eternal ledger. Even the decisions of individual humans, acts of courage, betrayal, or devotion, are catalogued, their effects rippling outward across the galaxy, shaping outcomes far beyond the comprehension of those who enact them. The silent hand of fate is patient. It does not rush. It does not falter. It calculates across centuries, centuries in which billions are born and die, empires rise and crumble, and stars flare and fade. What appears to mortals as chaos is, to these keepers of destiny, perfect order. The bureaucrats of the Imperium understand the fragility of free will, the inevitability of consequence, and the immense power of foresight. Every edict they issue, every record they maintain, every decision they influence is a stitch in a tapestry whose edges stretch into infinity. Yet destiny is not only about control, it is about guidance. Administrators do not seize the will of mortals, but rather channel it, bending human effort toward the eternal goals of the Imperium. A colony's industrial output, a fleet schedule, a commander's orders, all flow through the silent calculations of these guardians of fate. Even rebellion and heresy, when analyzed, become part of the equation, tools by which the Imperium tests itself, strengthens itself, and ensures that destiny unfolds as it must. In this way, bureaucracy is not cold or heartless. It is divine, a hand that shapes chaos into purpose, forging eternity from the raw material of life itself. Consider the balance of worlds at war, each in its own spiral of conflict, rebellion, and ambition. The Administratum oversees it all, tracing the trajectories of fleets, the consumption of resources, the spread of ideas and faith. They intervene subtly, ensuring that victories occur where they are most needed, that failures instruct rather than destroy, that the galaxy moves inexorably toward the designs of the Emperor. It is meticulous work, uncelebrated and unseen, yet absolute. Destiny flows through the pen, the stamp, the edict, and the ledger as surely as it flows through the stars themselves. There is a philosophy here, deep and ancient, that the Imperium's survival is not sustained solely by courage, strength, or faith, but by the quiet, tireless devotion of those who record, calculate, and predict. For if destiny is to be fulfilled, if the Emperor's will is to endure across a galaxy of light years and lifetimes, it requires guardians who think in centuries, who measure in light years, and who comprehend the scale of infinity. These clerks, archivists, and bureaucrats are more than observers. They are the custodians of fate itself. Yet even in their perfection, there is humility. They do not claim authorship of destiny. They recognize that the flow of events is larger than any one mind. They intervene, not to dominate, but to guide. They are patient, calculating, and precise, knowing that one misstep could unravel the threads of entire campaigns, entire civilizations. And so they toil in silence, unseen, unthanked, yet indispensable, ensuring that the galaxy's song plays on according to the eternal score. Visualize the process. A fleet moves toward a war-torn system. Orders are transmitted, resources allocated, contingencies considered. Simultaneously, distant clerks analyze outcomes of past battles, integrate probabilities, and issue corrections to ensure the Imperium's strategic coherence. Every act of war, every prayer, every sacrifice is folded into this grand calculation. To the soldier in the trenches, it is fate. To the fleet commander, it is duty. To the bureaucrat, it is labor. Yet in truth, all are threads woven by the same hand. Destiny in the Imperium is both terrifying and magnificent. It strips mortals of the illusion of control, revealing that the galaxy itself moves according to a pattern beyond comprehension. And yet, it also gives meaning. Every act, every choice, every life contributes to the fulfillment of a cosmic design. In the quiet chambers of the Administratum, destiny is a living thing, observed, preserved, and guided. It is a river that flows through time, a symphony of countless worlds, a tapestry whose threads stretch from the smallest hive city to the most distant star. And when one contemplates it, one realizes that destiny is not an abstraction. It is bureaucracy, faith, memory, and technology fused into a single, unbreakable force. The galaxy itself is a ledger, each act recorded, each consequence accounted for, each possibility foreseen. And at the heart of it all, the silent strategists continue their work, patient and eternal, shaping futures as they unfold, guiding the Imperium with unwavering hands and infinite foresight. Thus, the Imperium moves, unerringly and without hesitation. Its destiny is neither chance nor whim, but the result of tireless devotion, meticulous record, and unbroken faith. Across the stars, its hand is silent yet absolute, shaping history, guiding life, and ensuring that the eternal will of the Emperor is fulfilled, now and forever. There comes a moment, in every empire, in every civilization, when the clamor of life, the roar of war, and the song of devotion fade into the void. In the Imperium, that moment is not death. It is silence. Silence is eternal, impartial, and absolute. It watches where eyes cannot see, it listens where ears cannot hear, and it records what memory itself struggles to hold. Here, in this infinite quiet, the true power of the Imperium is revealed. The bureaucracy that endures when all else is lost, the witness that outlives empires, and the hand that preserves order long after the stars themselves have grown cold. Imagine the endless corridors of Terra's archives, halls now empty, lit only by flickering hololiths. The candles of devotion have guttered, the chants of priests have ceased, and even the hum of machinery is but a whisper. Yet the records remain. Every battle fought, every soul lost, every edict issued is etched into the eternal memory of the Imperium. The clerks, the scribes, the archivists, they have gone, yet their labor endures. Their silence is not absence. It is a testament, a monument to order, a reminder that while life is fleeting, bureaucracy is infinite. Silence is impartial. It does not favor the brave, the devout, or the powerful. It observes the rise and fall of worlds with equal regard. Planets may flourish, only to be consumed by plague, war, or heresy. Titans may stride and fleets may burn, yet the silence records without judgment. It does not rejoice in victory nor mourn in loss. It is the eternal witness, preserving all, forgiving nothing, and forgetting no detail. In this, it is both beautiful and terrible, a mirror of the Imperium itself. In the quiet, one can trace the full scale of human endeavor across the galaxy. Fleets that burned through warp storms, armies that fell in heroism or futility, saints whose lives inspired devotion, heretics whose schemes threatened annihilation, all are catalogued, numbered, and preserved. Even the smallest act, the briefest whisper of defiance, becomes part of the eternal record. Through this vigilance, the Imperium endures, for memory and bureaucracy persist where flesh and fire fail. The paradox of silence is that it is never truly empty. Though worlds burn and voices fade, the Imperium continues in its meticulous, unspoken labor. The ledgers hum with data, hololiths flicker with encoded knowledge, and the unseen hands of the Administratum guide events even when no living being remains to witness them. In silence, the Imperium is more than alive. It is eternal. Every edict still has weight, every record still directs, every calculation still ripples through time and space, unseen but undeniable. Consider the nature of witness. In the tumult of existence, one rarely observes the full consequence of action. Lives end, battles are forgotten, civilizations collapse. Yet in the silence of bureaucracy, every act matters. The clerk who recorded a world's fall, the archivist who preserved a saint's confession, the scribe who filed a report of heresy, they are all part of a continuum that stretches beyond mortality. They bear witness not only to what was, but to what will be. And in doing so, they transform silence from absence into presence, from void into eternity. Even the most cataclysmic events cannot erase this witness. Entire sectors may vanish, consumed by warp storms or Xeno's invasion, yet the records endure. Data, inscriptions, and sacred ledgers survive in hidden vaults, preserved by the meticulous foresight of those who served long before and long after the chaos. Silence is patient. It waits. It endures. And when the living have forgotten, it still remembers, holding the galaxy in its infinite gaze. The beauty of this silence lies in its humility. It does not claim glory, nor seek recognition. It does not act for vengeance, reward, or pride. It merely exists, observing, recording, and preserving, a quiet testament to the imperishable order of the Imperium. Even the Emperor himself, eternal and vigilant, relies on it, for the machinery of humanity is too vast for any single will to guide alone. Silence is the backbone of all that endures, the eternal witness to devotion, war, memory, and technology, the invisible force that ensures the galaxy continues according to the divine order. Visualize, if you can, the final measure of this truth, a planet lost to fire and plague, its defenders gone, its cities smoldering. The war machines lie broken, the people vanished, and yet the records remain. Somewhere, deep within the infinite archives, the clerk's labor endures. Names are listed, dates recorded, strategies analyzed, mistakes noted. Even in absence, there is presence. Even in destruction, there is continuity. Silence itself becomes a guardian, a priest, a custodian of eternity, preserving the Imperium in the shadow of mortality. And so, as the galaxy spins, stars die, and civilizations rise and fall, silence continues its vigil. It does not falter, it does not tire, and it does not judge. It merely observes, preserves, and endures. It is the final witness to all things, the last arbiter of memory and destiny, the quiet force that binds the Imperium together even when life, faith, and war have faded. In the end, it is silence that speaks the loudest. It whispers across light years, through the void, and into the hearts of those who serve, reminding them that nothing is fleeting when recorded, nothing lost when observed, and nothing forgotten when held in the eternal gaze of bureaucracy. It is in silence that the Imperium's true power is revealed, infinite, enduring, and beyond the comprehension of any mortal mind. And so it watches, eternal and patient, as the stars fade into memory, leaving only the echo of its pen upon the void. The Imperium endures, silent yet absolute, a testament to faith, war, memory, technology, and destiny, preserved forever by the quiet hands of its eternal guardians.